Good evening. My name is Lewis, and I'd like to present my final project to the class, which is titled Africana Studies 284, Brazilian Culture and Music. The title of my presentation is Brazilian Culture in the United States. Personally, I believe that Brazilian culture and any other culture, as a matter of fact, has had a a profound effect on the way the American culture has developed. It's had a profound effect on how the United States of America has grown as one. It has seemed to become a melting pot for every other culture to come and assimilate into the country. The Brazilian culture is no different. Brazilian culture has been able to come into this country during the early 20th century and be accepted by millions of people within the country. It has laid foundations here that has continually grown and accepted various people within the country. Uh, for example, music. Music is a universal communication throughout for all people, for all cultures. But the Brazilian music has had a profound effect in the American roots of music, such as jazz. Now, the Brazilian sound that has been accepted within the United States has been the foundation for all music genres in the country. The instrumentalists, the sound, the way they sing, you can find you can find any traces of Brazilian music within it. Many Brazilian artists, such as Roberto Carlos, Daniel Mercury, international successes that have come to this country here, and they've increased their popularity. At home, they're national successes, national best-selling artists, and here too, they continue to thrive in this country because their style of music is accepted here. That's how Brazilian culture has been accepted here. It's been open through music. It has gone through Hollywood. So music has gone through Hollywood, and we've seen Brazilian culture in films that the United States throughout the United States where American people can watch. So that's how Brazilian culture also has been increasing. It has come through and become a household name without Americans actually knowing it has. Because for everyday in our everyday lives, we don't seem to think about a lot of things like that, but it has. Now, the music that we listen to, the beat, the things that we dance to, the movement of our bodies, everything can be traced back to Brazil. Certain songs that we listen to can, and that is truly amazing because all the music that we've learned in class, that we I have personally listened to, I have actually understood it, and you can actually listen to the beats that have been made and connect it to any other beats that have been made in American music. It's very similar. The roots are there. Now, many of the greatest American artists have been able to sample Brazilian sound, Brazilian genres into their music. For example, look at Frank Sinatra. He's known as one of the most great. He's known as one of America's greatest musicians, and he has done albums with Brazilian genres within them. So he is a prime example of how a culture can come into the United States and be accepted, widely accepted by all, and continue to thrive today. Many artists today still continue to do work with Brazilian artists to create new sound, and it shows that cultures between these two worlds aren't really different. They're actually one. So basically, all I'm saying is that music has been a gateway to how people in the United States have been able to accept the cultures that have come. They're from immigrants. Secondly, another example of how Brazilian culture has been very effective in America is food. Every American here loves food. As you come to America, you can see the fast food and you can walk fast food restaurants for one. You can walk down through the city of Manhattan and see different types of various foods from immigrants, from the Indians to the Chinese to the Spanish. You can see all their foods there being displayed for the world to see. So as I can say that Brazilian food is there too. There are many restaurants in in Manhattan, in New York, within the United States that sell Brazilian food that show their culture to people. Because for one, many people at one time cannot listen to music or won't truly accept it or won't accept the culture through the films or movies or anything that comes to the country. But food is a universal item that can be accepted because every man goes hungry. Every individual goes hungry. And you cannot lie, but our taste buds love good food. So Brazilian food again is amazing, and to, many people eat Brazilian food every day without knowing. Such things as rice and peas. The most common Brazilian food is found in the United States everywhere. Every culture, everybody eats rice and peas. Different forms, different places, and everywhere. Rice and peas is a universal example of how Brazilian culture has been influenced in the United States through food. Another example of how Brazilian culture has been influenced by food is called it's called, I can't pronounce the word. It's sanagarias. Uh, it's a common snack food that is sweet or savory. It's a sweet or savory pastry that can be seen in stores in the city. I've seen stores in Brazilian restaurants that you go to that I go to in the city that I've attended when I went a few years ago. Actually had had these pastries out to give people as they were leaving. They were delicious. See, foods like these that have been able to show us culture through our taste buds and allow us to accept it is found in the United States. That's how Brazilian culture has been effective here in the United States. It's come through music, food, films, clothing. The clothing that we even wear sometimes has Brazilian effects on it. The way that we dance, the way that we eat, everything. Other movements that many people do in the United States have Brazilian roots within it. And thirdly, many of the immigrants that come from Brazil that come here to do work, to find a steady job, to go to school, to find a new beginning. When they come here, they bring their roots and their culture here, and it can be seen when they move into their apartment buildings or their homes, and they spread their love throughout their neighborhood. Because one apartment building can have many different cultures there, and if everybody in that apartment building is open their doors, culture will flow throughout the whole building, and every individual will learn something different about another culture. But that's how an individual from Brazil can come to an apartment building and spread his or her culture to the world just by opening his door. That's how Brazilian culture has been accepted in the country, in the United States. It was able to come into the country and be humble and be accepted by the American people, and it's spreading. Now today, everywhere you go in the city or any other major city that you see in the United States, you'll definitely find a Brazilian restaurant there. You can find um Brazilian dance groups, Brazilian stores that sell clothing and merchandise. For example, in the in Binghamton itself here, the university that we all attend, there are Brazilian dance groups within our multicultural organization. That's an example of how Brazilian culture has influenced American culture to accept it and expand both together. Another example of how Brazilian culture has been blessed and accepted here is when Carmen Miranda came to the United States through film and expressed the whole Brazilian culture to the world, and everybody fell in love with her. And today she is a Brazilian icon, and I can humbly say an American icon. Well, thank you very much. This is my presentation on Brazilian cultures in the United States. I love this was a great class, and thank you.